What's up, guys? It's Joe again, and we're back with part 2 of our high-performance electric supermoto. Today we're going to talk about the build process and how we took a pile of bike parts and pieces and turned it into this machine. We did all the fabrication at a Cincinnati makerspace called the Manufactory. This place has all kinds of stuff like plasma cutters, welders, lathes, CNC machines, and they'll let you use it all for the right price. I'll post a link to their site in the description below. The first thing we needed to do was figure out a plan of how we're going to fit all these electric bike parts on a KTM frame that was designed for a 450cc engine and gas tank. That was the hardest part. The batteries we used were very boxy, and if we were able to design a frame from scratch, we would have designed it around fitting and protecting the batteries. So we started off by making a preliminary 3D sketch to see how the battery boxes, motor, and controller would fit. From there, we made cardboard mock-ups and came up with a placement for 10 battery cells, which gave us lower center of gravity and more room under the seat. After the layout was finalized, we sketched up a template for the battery boxes. Then we got a sheet of 20 gauge stainless steel, marked it up according to our template, and cut everything out with electric shears. Then we used a brake to bend up the boxes and pop rivet everything together, and luckily all the batteries fit inside perfectly. The first thing we wanted to mount to the frame was the motor. The front sprocket position was crucial, so we tried to get as close to the same spot as the factory sprocket location. After we lined up the front sprocket, we drilled out and mounted the motor to a faceplate so we could hold the motor and plate up to the frame and mark the best spots for mounting the holes. Thankfully, we were able to get the motor plate mounted to 3 factory motor mount holes. For the battery boxes, we reinforced the mounting locations with 1/2-inch steel and then drilled and bolted them to the aluminum frame. We still needed to mount the motor controller, and the only open space was the rear subframe. Since we set up the suspension for street, the rear shock was extremely stiff, and we figured we could get away with mounting it above the rear wheel. This allows for the heat sink to get a decent amount of airflow, and it only bottoms out if we hit big jumps. The last thing to do was cut open the bottom of the gas tank and stuff in our electronics. We have our DC contactor in there, our EMUS battery monitoring system, and our DC to DC converter for our 12-volt loads. We even wired a key switch up to the gas tank. So that's all for our build. It might not seem too complicated, but for us electrical and computer engineers, this was the hardest part of the project. Our next video will cover testing of the complete bike. We have a few dyno pulls and some ride footage to show you. My name's Joe. Like, subscribe, share, and check back for more videos of our high-performance electric supermoto.